Welcome, everybody. Welcome, my lovelies, to our BB. Yes, that's right, Big Brother recap show. So this is our kickoff to our Big Brother recap show. We are recapping and review the Big Brother 25th anniversary special that premiered last night
Yep.
on CBS and Paramount, and it was hosted by Entertainment Tonight. And I am joined with who will be my BB co-host, Janelle.
Hi.
Janelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited that Big Brother is finally back. It feels I've just been
Oh,
seething for it to start. So I'm super excited to start talking Big Brother again.
yes. So, just a little bit of background on how this came about. Both Janelle and I were separately watching Big Brother 24 last year. And we love the winner of Big Brother 24. So you will absolutely hear us standing Taylor Hill
Yes.
for the end of
Taylor
time.
Hale. Yes.
And then Janelle was like, let's do a podcast. And I was like, I do two Love Islands in the summer. No way am I doing Big Brother. And then Big Brother production said, hey, we're not going to have any scripted shows in the fall, so we're going to do Big Brother in the fall instead, late summer to fall instead of
Mhm.
summer. So it does not coincide with most of my Love Island. So Love Island UK, which I recap with Chantel Francis on her channel, Reality Realness, ends on Monday, and Love Island USA just started, but it's only like 3 or 4 days a week. So
Yep.
we're in luck. We can actually do some Big Brother chit chat this year. So I just want you guys to know I'm a newer Big Brother fan, watcher. I literally only have watched Big Brother 24 and 23 in its entirety. I did watch almost the entirety of feeds for Big Brother 24. In fact, I even went back and watched whatever feeds I did not see. Um, so this year I'll be watching feeds again. So we're gonna bring you feeds. We're gonna bring you whatever happens on their edited show. So I recently watched the edited show in its entirety for Big Brother 24 because I really didn't watch it during the season because they were annoying and didn't show everything. I'd rather watch live feeds. So Janelle, you could tell them how long you've been watching Big Brother.
I am also a newer fan, but quite an obsessed one. I am a lover of Survivor. I've been watching it for years upon years upon years. And lots of friends that enjoy the show were like, do you watch Big Brother? I think you would like Big Brother. And I just didn't understand it. I was like, that does not sound like fun. A bunch of people in the house voting each other out. Like, that doesn't sound like fun. But I eventually gave it a try. Season 6 was the first season I dove into. Absolutely loved it. Watched a couple of other seasons before Big Brother 22 All Stars. That was my first ever live season. I watched probably 4 or 5 seasons before that started, but fell in love with watching it with the live feeds and participating on BB Twitter, talking to people, debating, watching live feed updates. Absolutely loved it. I'm completely obsessed. I'm completely invested, and I cannot wait for a new season to kick off.
Yeah. So this is basically just fun for us. We're not gonna get crazy with it, although we might stand some people. Just pre-warning, we will. We love who we love. We are
Yes,
fans of who we love, so we will stand. But
yes,
this is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of chit chat. We want you to come in and chit chat with us live, um, and just making an experience that is kind of adjacent to the season. So we kind of want to just take what we do on Twitter and Facebook and IG and like put it here and
Mhm.
chit chat about the stuff that we saw, but also the stuff we're hearing, and also the stuff that we're seeing chatter about on Twitter and
Yeah,
Facebook and IG. So this is going to be a fun experience. I think we have a lot of cool ideas for the season.
yeah.
So
I
let
mean, we
us,
do it. This is what we do all the time anyway. Talk about
yes,
what's happening, who's doing what, who's doing
yes,
when.
yeah.
So might
So,
as
like
well.
next week, I will be at the premiere party for Big Brother 25 with most of the Big Brother 24 cast, a
Yeah,
lot of the Big Brother 23 cast, and I'm excited for that. I have been to one of Aza's premiere parties, her house chops. I did go to her premiere party last season for Big Brother 24. I went primarily because of the challenge, because a lot of the people that I like from like Love Island was going to be on the challenge. And I had a great time. It was in New York as well. And then I did couldn't really watch the premiere episode. So if you've never been to a live party, when you're sitting in the space, it's like a bunch of people in the space, and then you got TV screens all over the place, and sometimes it's just a little hard to hear.
hard, hard to pay attention with everything that's happening.
Exactly, and then and it was packed. It was so many people there for Big Brother. It was that I didn't realize again. I did not realize how big a deal Big Brother was until that point. And even
Yeah,
then, I watched the premiere episode and I couldn't really hear, so I really didn't pay attention. And then most of those people cleared out. And then for like the premiere of the Challenge USA, it actually was a little nicer of an atmosphere because a lot less people. We could actually hear Ozza had the DJ like turn up in between where commercials were. So we were like dancing and partying and taking pictures. So it was like a really fun experience,
yeah,
especially, being there with most of the cast. So I'm excited for next week because now since I'm a better Big Brother fan, I can actually enjoy that part of the experience.
yeah,
So, and then we are both going to be attending the premiere party at on August 10th in Detroit.
yes.
So that's going to be fun as well. I'm so excited for that one.
So excited. I can't wait to see who's going to attend. That's what I
Yes.
can't wait.
Yeah, I don't think she's put out the list yet. So we're patiently keyword on the patience
Yeah, kinda.
waiting on that.
Hmm.
So once we'll bring you all the little details and stuff from everything that we hear and see while we're there. We're gonna take lots of pictures and videos. So we're gonna talk about this anniversary special, and I was perusing through Twitter, and a lot of the people seem to be either that was terrible, they didn't do it right, that was okay, it was pretty much what I expected, or that was great. Um, I'm pretty much like, oh wow, that was pretty good. I don't know what I expected, but I mean, I've seen anniversary specials, and I feel like that was par for the course of an anniversary special. But I think it wasn't geared towards like super fans,
It
right?
was
Like
not.
it
No.
wasn't. No. Like I feel like it was geared towards a me or maybe even a you or maybe even somebody who's never watched the show because again, the first time I really watched the show was 24. So it's like
Yeah.
24 years before I even really watched the show, and the show has been around for how many years. So
Yeah.
I think that's who they wanted to bring in a newer audience, get people excited for the season. But I do think it was geared towards if you've never watched Big Brother, this is what it's about, and this who was on it, and this is what it entails. So a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff like we have known from like chit chats and like watching the live feeds. And I did go back and I've watched a few episodes of season 10. I've watched a few episodes of season 3. I have gone to events and met people. I've met Will Mega from season 1. Um, and so like I have kind of started like ingraining into the history, but I will say I don't think if you were a super fan or you were trying to wait to see, oh my god, they're going to give us so much information about Big Brother 25, that this was the show for you. What do you think, Janelle?
It was okay. I'm used to feeling like they don't exactly hit the mark that I would have aimed for.
Mhm.
I know, according to Big Brother fandom, I cannot be a super fan until I've seen every single season, but I'm a really, really, really big fan. Give me that at least. So a lot of the stuff I knew I'd seen before. And I think yes, it was geared towards people who might not know a lot of the behind the scenes things that we already know. But
Mhm.
it was okay. It was just okay for me. It was fine. Not
Okay.
great, not bad, just okay. And I feel like there are probably a lot of content creators that could do a more comprehensive 25th anniversary celebration. Like some of the stuff they could have dived a little further into or explained to people that might not know the history or why a blow up is a big deal or a fight is a big deal or what Keisha's birthday is. You know, I feel like they could have explained those things a little bit more. But besides that, it was cute. I was
Yeah.
also surprised at the lack of participation by actual Big Brother players. Like, literally, the promo for the
Mhm.
anniversary special is all the people that were on it. I just assumed that that was the highlights of the special, not the whole entire cast of who participated in it. So that shocked me. And I'm wondering, like, who they asked, who turned it down, and why. We'll probably never know that, but I was curious.
We know that there are some people who like, if you go to their IG, or if they have an IG or they have a Twitter, Big Brother is, and they were on the show, Big Brother is not highlighted on their
Yeah.
their profile. So we know
Yeah.
that there's going to be people who are no longer participating, no longer talk about the show. I do feel like, again, we're post COVID. You could have gotten video submissions from a lot of these people. Yes, Dan Giesling might not have been able to fly out to LA or to fly out to New York to participate, but ask him to submit a video. Ask him
Yeah.
to submit shit. Ask him to submit a voice recording saying about his experience. Something.
Yeah,
Something.
Rachel and Brendan weren't there. Like it was obvious that they were filming from home, you know, so they could maybe they tried and people just didn't want to. I don't know if we're ever
Right.
going to really know the answer to that, but yeah, that part was a little lacking. I expected more, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so I do agree with you there. I feel like they could have done better um with participation. But
Yeah.
I will say the people that did participate, um I 90 85% of them I loved their
Yeah.
participation. I loved hearing
Love
from them.
Yes, I love Taylor, of course. Taylor Stan
Right.
always. Love the cookout. I love,
Yeah.
love, love Rachel. Like my relationship with her was an evolution. I didn't so much love her on The Amazing Race, but watching her
Mhm.
on Big Brother, I kind of felt like I got to understand her a little bit more and just her dynamic and her personality. So I love Rachel and Brendan. I love their relationship. I love Brenchel. I love Jordan. Jeff. I like Jordan. Jeff's okay. Frankie, he's cool. Derek and Cody, they're cool, you know?
Um for me, the highlight, and only because just hearing Taylor talk about her all of Big Brother 24, and then actually going back and watching some of her season, listening, watching, hearing from Danielle was,
Mm-hmm.
uh she's a star.
I love
Like,
her.
I love her. She
Yeah.
is so charismatic. She pulls you in, and it's like you want either someone like her again or you want her back, because like
Yeah.
she will tell you, I was a villain, I wanted to be a villain, I tried to be a villain, I will embrace that I was a villain, but she
Yeah.
was a lovable villain.
Yes.
And that's the, I think those are the things that are missing, because like we saw, I mean, I'm trying to think if there was a villain in Big Brother 23. um
I feel like the villain would be Sarah Beth, like in the
Okay,
first
yes,
place.
yes,
You
yes.
know,
Because I do remember my son was like, "See," because she was saying, she was chatting shit, and my son was like, "See, Sarah Beth, that's why America won't send you any money."
yes, yes. Her classic line, America can wipe their butts with the BB Bucks. But she was a fun villain. She wasn't
Yes,
mean, nasty, vile villain. She's the kind of villain I like to see. I
yeah,
like my version of a villain is people that are cutthroat, people that are
yeah,
selfish, that are playing for themselves and themselves first. They're willing
right,
to lie, cheat, manipulate, or whatever to get
right,
their point across. I like those kind of villains. And I don't
yeah,
mind fights. As long as it doesn't get nasty and personal, I love it.
yeah. That's the same thing for me. Like watching the older seasons, I just feel like there are some points where they did get personal, and there's some verbiage that were used that is like, like back then I do, remember like watching Real World, watching a lot
Yeah.
of these shows that was par for the course, very normal, right? Like
Yes.
even watching the Real World, if you remember Boston season, I forget what season it was, but like when the was it the guy slapped the girl in the car,
David, he slapped
David,
Irene. He
yes,
slapped Irene. She was
yes,
driving away. He stopped
yes,
the car
and
and
slapped her
slapped
in the
her in the
face,
face.
and he
I'll
did
never
get
forget
kicked out. And
it.
then like, so we've seen stuff
Yeah.
like that back then. I'm not saying it was normal, I'm not saying that was okay, but it got bad, right? Like
Hmm.
bad. But we have evolved as a society, supposedly, and there's some things I feel like is unnecessary to gameplay nowadays. Like it's just
Personal
not
attacks.
personal attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just keep it to game.
yeah,
Any player that goes in there and keeps it to game and talking about, game reasons why they want to get people out, why they don't want to work with people, keep their personal stuff out of it, you'll be okay. But that's definitely changed because I watched recently Evil Dick season. There was a segment about memorable characters, and he was
hmm
listed in that segment. And I watched that, and my jaw was on. I was like, how does this guy win? And talking to other fans, other people, I was posting about it while I was watching,
hmm
um, learning that he was such a fan favorite. I was like, why? Like, some of it was compelling, some of it was funny, but there were a lot of personal things that he did. I was like, yo, why do people like I from what we saw on the show, I
hmm
could not imagine. Like, I am so upset that I did not watch the show sooner. I cannot imagine what the feeds are like on his season. They
hmm
have to be like he would. I just can't imagine. Like, I just literally can't.
He has me blocked on Twitter. I don't know why. I never talked about that man. I don't know who that man is.
Yeah.
Brandy agrees with you about the special. Hi, Brandy.
Hi,
Um,
Brandy.
so I don't listen. He obviously, I don't know. The only thing I ever did with Big Brother was stand Taylor Hale all in Big Brother 24. So if that's why I'm blocked, I'll gladly take the block. But otherwise, I don't know the man, but he got me blocked on Twitter. I thought that was funny.
Yes.
Listen, it is what it is. But let's get into some of these segments as discussed, because there it was a little all over the place. So I tried to like kind of note the
Some segments.
flow.
Like,
Yes,
I have some too. Like, the first one, they talked about how the show is almost canceled after season one, and what
right.
saved it was the addition of the live feeds, and also giving the house guests the ability to vote each other out as opposed to America voting them out. And I could get why watching people in a house being voted out by America could get a little boring. And as a player, what are you going to do? Like, if they don't like you, they don't like you. Or if they like somebody else, they like somebody else. You don't have any stake in the game.
Right.
So it's interesting that the addition of the live feeds, as well as having the house guests target and vote out each other, is what really turned the game around. Because I couldn't imagine it be interesting otherwise. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm really glad I didn't like, I guess I never really thought too hard about it, but I thought that was interesting. We need live feeds. It's what makes Big Brother so fun, at least for me.
Yeah. I will say I watching so I watched Big Brother 24 primarily on live feeds.
Yeah.
And and then going back and then like watching Big Brother 23 edited.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I don't like this. It is no fun.
Yes.
It's not exciting. It's not like they tried to carve out a storyline, and I just, there's some episodes it's like, oh my god, that was a good episode, but primarily I don't like it. I also don't like, I going back and watching like season 10 and season 3, just the tone is different now. Like now it's all like carnival. So, yeah,
like
yeah,
like a joke. Like it's,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't enjoy that part of it so much.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree, because like I said, when I started watching, I binged a couple of seasons before my first live season, and the difference in watching just the show versus watching with the lives is just a 180. You miss so much, and you can't really understand that unless you get into the live feeds. It's two completely different experiences. And the way the show's edited, a lot of times you just miss so many important things. And I think that you don't realize how good some people's games are because you can't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I like understanding how things came to be. I like how a seemingly goofy or dumb move on the edited show, you have context for. You get to understand it. So I love live feeds. I'm a big component of them. So I'm glad we can thank Danielle for a sequestered jury and live feeds. It like saved Big Brother, and we needed it.
Yeah. And thank God that they don't have mainstream America vote just for the winner of the show, because I can't even imagine. Well, I know, based on some panels that I've been on, like, well, Mega was like, he was the first one out because he came there and, he was playing a manipulative game, but he was like some big black dude playing a manipulative game. And so, first out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they did say it started as a groundbreaking social experiment, and they do give like a bit of a montage on it, and it was basically just like trying to push the show forward because it wasn't doing well. And but now it's the longest running competition show in history. It 855 episodes, 300 house guests, and $12.5 million first prizes given
Crazy.
out, which is absolutely nuts. And then we do get the introduction to our most recent winner, which is Taylor Hale. And she says the show itself is just like a crazy introduction to like life as it is. And she's like, the fans are rabid and insane and dedicated and amazing. And I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Because I feel like a good but crazy fan. I'm not crazy in the sense that I attack people or go after people. I love on who I enjoy, and I try to just stay away from those that I don't. And that's what everybody should do. But I am one of those fans, so I get it.
Yeah. So they go into like memorable moments, and I would say this segment was like mostly about fights. So I was like, there's nothing else that I could go through because it's like literally all about fights. So it's like,
I thought when they talked about I guess that was shocking moments. I have shocking moments written down. Is it memorable or shocking? But either way, that twist of Nokomis and Cowboy being siblings.
Yeah.
I was like, what if they were into each other?
Yeah, no, that
And
was
they had made, like, would the show have been like, hey, wait a minute, wait, don't do that. You know, like, well, I am dying to know, like, what would have happened if those two just happened.
and then they couldn't even talk about it because
Right.
the production stepped in, is like, and told us we were related, so we can't even talk about that. That would have been crazy.
I just want to know, like, did they think about that? Did you think about the fact that maybe what if they liked each other? What would you guys have told them? I
Yeah.
really want to ask production that question.
No.
They talked about season 6 fights. Season 6 fights were epic, and I've noticed in some of these fights they get a little physical.
Yeah. So like
Jordan,
I think on season 11 it was, Jordan was saying like she was getting physical with
Russell, she chest bumped him.
She's like, she didn't do more than that because she was like, I knew I would get kicked out. So
I'm surprised she could chest bump him. I was like, that's allowed. And when they showed Janelle and Bo fighting, they were sort of a little physical. They were. Season 6 is so epic. With the
so the fights they went through was season 12, Reagan and Rachel, Keisha's birthday, the entire house was fighting on that for season 10. Brett and Rockstar, season 20, Taco Tuesday, 21, as you said, season 6, Janelle and Bo, Jordan and Russell, season 11, and then they talked about
and
Kylan and X's fight on BB23, which wasn't a fight. It was more of a disagreement
confrontation.
and a confrontation. It was crazy. Listen, I did not watch Big Brother 23, but I know a lot of Big Brother fans, and everybody was telling, because they had been telling me about the cookout that entire season. But again, I was doing 2 Love Islands. There was no way. Like, if you go on my Entertainment in Color profile at IG, I did a whole post where they got to the final 6 for them and everything because it was historic. But I couldn't watch the show. But then after that happened, it was like, oh my God, Kylan did this. It's like, wait, what happened? and I did watch that fight. Like, I did go back and watch a clip of that fight, that argument, and it was like, wow.
Oh my God. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I was not thinking that would be a part of the show. When it came up, I was like, oh no, let's forget it. Like that can like X's energy. Who's Kylan? What you talking about? I don't know.
He's like a fracas happened? Something happened with Kylan? I don't remember. And I will say that I do appreciate, I know a lot of people give the cookout a lot of, they are 6 individuals. They come from all different walks of life. Their experiences are all different. They're going to come with all different sets of personalities. But I do feel like they've done their best to protect each other after the season. Well, after the challenge, you were saying. That was a blip. But I do think that they have, because it's like having family. It's like, you can't do, you're never going to separate yourself from your family. You're always going to be family. Even if you don't ever talk to them or talk to them on a regular basis, they're still going to be family, and you love them and you accept them for who they are, and you might give them shit every now and then, publicly or behind closed doors, but you're going to ride for them regardless. And I do love that about the cookout, that they are a family.
Absolutely. That is my favorite thing. And some of the women even got a lot of flack, coming out of the house with not handling some of the things that the guys had done publicly, basically was it. And I sincerely I respect the fact that their relationships matter enough to them that any conflict they have, they don't have it publicly. They handle it privately. Because they matter to each other, and that they want that relationship to always be there. So they are set the bar high, in my opinion, and I love their relationships together.
Yeah. So next we do have those shocking moments, and it's season 2, Shannon with the electric toothbrush.
That was horrible.
And I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about.
No.
See how that was like season 2? Like, nah, that would never fly. She would get arrested.
But I was like, oh, like I just think that's disgusting. You don't do that to people. I didn't like it, but I'm sure at the time people were just like, oh my gosh,
Oh
that's
my
not
God, look what she
get him back
did.
by voted getting his behind on that block and voted out. Like get
Yeah.
him back that way. Don't go putting somebody's tooth. That was
I would
disgusting.
even take taking his clothes, wetting it up, something else. You know what I mean? Like not his tooth, not the hygiene.
There
And
was one. I'm surprised what the shocking moments were good, but one shocking moment I was surprised that didn't make the
mhm,
cut was Evil Dick season. There was this girl named Jen who
mhm,
he was always, always, always at odds with. Jen was a character. I'm sure I would have liked her more if I had live feeds, but anyway, she was a character and she did not back down. And she seemed not easily bothered by
mhm.
what people were saying or doing or saying about her. She was always like, that's what I respected about her. No matter what people, mostly Dick, threw at her, she didn't back down. She didn't run and hide. She just came back at them. But anyway, she got upset. She was betrayed. And Dick was a chain smoker, like always had a cigarette in his mouth. And so he came into the house with a bunch of cartons of cigarettes. If you smoke them all, you're just out of luck. You're not getting any more. So you have to bring your whole supply. She destroyed it. I was like, she destroyed like cartons of cigarettes, Tamika. I was like, oh my, I was like, he's gonna kill her. Like he is going to kill that woman. Because he was just something else. He didn't kill her. They got into a fight and she was probably burned by a cigarette because of it. But I was shocked that that moment did not make this shocking moments list because I was like, I really thought he was gonna kill that girl.
Yeah, I mean, they did throw in like Frankie Grande's Battle of the Block, him winning solo, which I felt like I don't feel like that's a shocking moment. I think it's more of like a thing of comps, right? So, but
Katrina
um,
says she remembers that moment. I think she's talking about Dick. I'm not sure if she's talking about
hey,
Frankie.
Katrina.
Hey, Katrina. Yeah, well, I think it was highlighted because Caleb, it was a two-person challenge,
Mhm.
and he refused to help. I'm like, no, you do it on your own. And Frankie still won. So I feel
Yeah,
like if I was watching as a viewer, I'd be like, wow, he pulled it out, even though his
yeah.
partner ditched him, you know?
And then this for me was I can understand being a shocking moment with season two with 9/11 and
Yeah.
them trying to figure out if they should continue the show, have the guests leave, and there were three house guests. And Katrina says, "Yeah, the evil dick moment."
Yeah, Katrina. When I really I was nervous. I posted about it when I was like, "Oh, he's going to murder that woman." Like I was so scared for her. It was
uh,
the epic fight afterwards, though.
yeah.
Sorry.
And are you blocked on Twitter?
I don't know. I'll have to go look
You
because I have
don't
no idea.
know? And so the uh, the three house guests that were left in the house had basically chose to stay, but one of them, Monica, did live in New York and did lose a cousin
Yeah.
to the 9/11 attacks. And for me, this is like near and dear. I was in school at the time
Hmm.
for 9/11. As actually also living at school, I was also 6 months pregnant,
Oh
and
my god.
it was one of the craziest days of my life.
I, I think that everybody knows where they were like
Yeah,
when 9/11 happened. I was in 10th grade, I think, in
yeah,
science class, and they put it on TV. And I was so, as a 10th grader, I was like, why are planes flying into buildings? Like I was so confused about it. But yeah, that's
yeah,
insane that they kept it going. You know,
yeah.
I
Uh,
like that they let the contestants choose and didn't
Yeah,
end it.
I think that was probably because I know on other things that have happened, people they chosen for them. I mean,
Yeah.
COVID. I think Big Brother Canada got canceled because
Canceled.
of
Yep.
COVID. I think the same thing happened with Love Island France. They canceled it because of COVID. So like I get it, like because those are like health risks. You don't know,
Right.
and they didn't know too much about COVID at that point. But I'm glad since it was so little of them left, that they gave them a chance to finish out their season in the
Yeah,
way that they felt like was necessary.
agreed.
And next, they talked about the Big Brother twist, so like the hacker comp. Some of them they didn't seem to note which season they were. So it's kind of like if you are a newer Big Brother fan or you were just watching this just to watch it, it was like, okay, well, what season was that? So that I could watch it. They didn't
Right.
note it.
Well, listen, some of the seasons, like at the bottom, that
Mm-hmm.
they had weren't right. Like Frankie
Oh
only
Lord.
played one time. They had Janelle, and I want to say it should have been 22. I want to say it was 24, and there
Oh
was a
Lord.
mess up with another one. So I'm like, oh, they didn't even have the seasons that they participated in right.
Now,
So
who was that though? Like, was that Entertainment Tonight, or was that like who did not? Which
somebody,
editor did not review that properly?
yeah, somebody didn't know, and somebody didn't do the work to
Yeah.
have the correct. So I'm not surprised, you
Uh,
know.
So they had the America's Player for season 8, Pandora's Box, the Siblings Twist in season 5, which is also the Project DNA that you were talking about with Nokomis
Thomas,
and
yeah.
Cowboy. And then at the same season, there were twins that were playing the game and they would switch out every couple of days. And then the Partners Twist. What is this? The Coup d'etat for season 11, the X Factor twist season 4, where they had to partner with their exes,
Dirty.
which Julie said to bring back. I think Taylor said to bring back the siblings twist.
Yeah, or
Um,
even Janelle said, bring back her twist. Her twist that season, everybody thought, like, if you and I were going in, we have a relationship, we know each other,
mhm,
but we think we are the only two that know each other. But
yeah.
yet everybody else thinks the same exact thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So everybody
That's the
thought,
partners twist, right? That was
yes. So
okay.
everybody thought they had a friend and that nobody else knew about when everybody had a friend, you know, and they just didn't know it yet. They figured it out eventually, but like Janelle said, it drove a lot of things and a lot of, oh, you're gonna put my person up? No, you know, and
Yeah,
some people that lost their partner got to go a little farther. That is a good twist to bring back. I
yeah.
hated America's Player.
Really? So some people really like that twist.
I feel like the person that was assigned, his name is Eric. He was assigned to be America's Player, but he was a really good player. Like he was a really good, influential player that got stuff done. But he had to do what America told him, even if he didn't agree with it. Like a lot of it was like to get people on the block that he was close to. At
Mhm.
the end, he was really instrumental in pushing for Dick's win because that's what America told him. I think he agreed with America, but that's what America told him to do. And like, because I feel like if he hadn't done that, like Danielle had a chance. Because I would have voted for Danielle hands down, but I hated that because I feel like Eric was such a capable player that got stifled by having to do what he was told to do as opposed to what was best for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hated it.
No, I can definitely understand that. Because they threw in Dire Fest and Big Brochella, and I hated that twist.
Hated it.
Hated it.
Hated it. I
Uh,
didn't so much mind like Festy Bestie.
yeah,
What would teams I didn't really mind in
yeah.
23. Those other twists were okay, but my favorite was the secret partner. I think the bringing in exes just would make things interesting and drama
Mhm.
filled. So I
Yeah,
would object to that. That you know what I mean?
yeah. I was saying it because it was such a historic season
Mm-hmm.
that it would have been cool if they did like a whole cast that were like tied to a Big Brother player in some way.
Oh, like a claim to fame for Big
Yes,
Brother?
like a claim to fame, but Big Brother versus, so not necessarily like you're bringing back, not like an All Stars or like heroes versus villains of like Big Brother players, just like people kind of like claim to fame. People would have to like figure out who these people were actually related to, because you're related to somebody in some
Yeah.
way, and who were they potentially related to. So I thought that was a really cool idea. This is before I started watching Claim to Fame, and then Claim to Fame was like, oh,
I think that would be cool if like the family members were like family members of well-known players. And we're like,
Mhm.
that's Janelle's sister. Let's see what she got.
Yeah,
Or, you know what I mean? That's
yeah.
Tiffany. If her son was, oh, that's Tiffany's son. Let's see what he, like, I think I would like something like that, like a legacy even type.
Legacy. That's what I called it. I said Big
Yeah.
Brother Legacy. So maybe they'll do it Big Brother 30. They got 5 years. So and then I think Tiffany's son could play.
Yeah.
And then they talked about the 24/7 live feeds, which we are a proponent for because
Yes.
that's how I'm primarily watching the show. But Julie says, people just stare for hours, like watching people eat a bowl of cereal or wash dishes. Do we believe Julie watches the live feeds?
I believe that maybe in the past she has, but not
I know
within
she
the
didn't
last.
watch the Big Brother 24 because some of the stuff she was saying, she used to do like a little
Exit interview.
exit interview for
Mhm.
each week, and the stuff that she kept saying, I was like, that's not what's going on. That didn't happen. What are you talking about? What show are you watching?
Yeah, I think I wish that Julie was a little more invested in watching and like really know what's happening. I think that maybe in the past she did, but
Mhm.
I'm hard pressed to believe that she currently does.
Yeah, and she does say one thing though I did agree with, like watching the live feeds, you really get to say whether true or not, whether it's house mentality or whatever, you get to see people's good side, you get to see people's bad side. It brings out either the best or the worst or somewhere in the middle
Yeah.
for everybody that comes out, and it's like at some point you have to kind of be like, okay, yeah, I did that, but a lot of people don't do that.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
even with the truth right there in
Yeah,
color
yeah,
live, they
yeah,
don't own it. But
yeah.
what
And,
can you
and
do?
and you can say they cut the feeds and we don't see everything, but usually we hear what's about to be talked about right before, right after what y'all just chit chatted about. We know.
We see enough. You
We see
know,
it.
our opinions aren't used like are based on a lot, not just one little snippet of something most times.
Yeah. No. But then they talk about the houses,
Yeah.
and they went through just like a montage of all the houses. So like the first house was a really low budget plywood house.
You look terrible.
It looked terrible. It looked like you watched the Challenge USA
Mhm.
where they were living. They were living like a
Mhm.
Home Depot.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
how it looked.
The
It
house
was
has
really
really,
bad.
really evolved over time. You know,
Yeah,
they've really stepped it up. So, I mean,
yeah,
I think they could still do better and make more room in that
yeah,
house,
yeah.
but it's much improved.
Yeah. So season 6, they were it started with the 2-story house. I was saying that when I was watching season 3, I noticed that they did have like, was it lizards or something like that in
Mhm.
there? And so I was like, oh, no wonder BB24, they kept saying that they were asking them to send them dogs and puppies. And I
Yeah.
was like, why would you think that they would just all of a sudden send you animals? That's because they used to put animals in the house,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize that.
I
So
thought when Danielle was talking about this, I'm like, they are so foul for
yeah.
making those people wash their clothes by
Oh
hand.
my god, yeah.
I
That was
was
so
so
horrible.
mad. Like I mean, I'm sure I could it's not hard, but like, come on. Really? You can't give them a washing machine? I was like, y'all are foul for that. Give those people a washing machine. Because I feel like
Literally,
no way.
that was what, 2002.
Yes, it's season 3. I believe it's
Yeah.
around 2002. I'm like,
So
there's no way they're truly clean.
yeah,
You
no,
know what
well,
I
no,
mean?
you can clean your clothes that way, but I'm telling you what, they could have gotten them a washer dryer. I literally had my own washer dryer at
It's
home.
the 2000s. Like, there's no reason
There was
why
no
they had to
reason.
wash their hands. It must have been just like, oh wait, we didn't think about a washer or dryer.
Yes,
Something
or
goofy.
no way to put it, because if you look at that house was like packed.
Tiny. Yes,
Yeah,
that HOH room was a closet.
And they probably didn't have electricity outside like now they do to put the stupid, washer dryer hookup out there. Anyway, they didn't think about it, but they had a really nice. I think they had a fish tank in there too, right?
Yeah.
And then the lizards. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like the things they think about, but then the things they don't think about.
Yeah.
Janelle says her favorite was season 8, which she wasn't part of.
Alice in
Frank,
Wonderland. Yeah.
which was that?
It was like an Alice in Wonderland theme. She
Yes,
liked.
she said it was
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, which did look cool, like the big teacups, and I love a good tea party. Frankie Grande said he liked his season, which had like an urban treehouse feel
Yeah.
to it, but he said their table was made with wood and moss, and I'm like, oh, I would not be able to eat there. I think Derek was laughing because Cody's season that he won 22, there was a huge mural of him,
He enjoyed that.
and he
He
enjoyed
enjoyed
that.
that. Yes.
And then Julie says the walls start coming down on finale night. They start tearing up the house, and it was like, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah. No, maybe 6 months out, but they ain't
Yeah,
working
I was gonna
for a
say,
full year.
I think y'all take a break, and
Why
then
y'all have an ant festation if that's the case? Like, what's going on?
because Taylor talked about the ants, Danielle talked about the ants,
Yeah.
Derek, Big D talked about the ants, but he did say that their house was the cleanest house, Big Brother 23,
Hmm.
and he attributed it to being all the black people.
Listen, they would like Derek was a cleaner. Like he would wake up and get everybody up and going on feeds. Everybody would be cleaning something. He was one of them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I give it to him.
And then they do talk about like how many days they've had. So it's 2025 days that running days, and which this year it's going to be 100 days in the Big Brother house. A
For
hundred
real? They
days.
said that?
Yes.
Oh my god. That is so long.
The finale is going to be November 9th, which Aza did have her final finale party for House Chops scheduled for November 9th. So she's like, my guesstimate was right. Uh,
That
but yes,
is
a
so
100 days,
long.
which is going to make it the longest season of Big Brother ever. Because I don't think there's been 100 days. There's been like 3 seasons where it's been 99 days. So like this is, and this is really probably only because of the writer's strike. Because this is ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
like a quarter, not even a quarter, 1/3 of somebody's life.
That's a long time to be in a game like that.
Yeah,
Playing and manipulating and that's a very long time.
that's
Plus
gonna be
the
taxing.
pressure. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
a long time.
it's gonna be a long time.
Yeah.
Nicole Franzel has done 3 seasons. She's been in the longest for
265.
205 days.
Insane. That's
Yeah,
almost a year.
yeah,
That is literally almost a year.
yeah. And because they pushed the start and premiere of Big Brother, Taylor's going to be the longest reigning Big Brother winner, female, I believe. I'm not sure male, but female because of it.
Good. Another
I'm
kudos
happy
to
with that.
her.
Yes. Add another notch on her belt she deserves.
Yeah.
Um, and then they were saying some behind the scenes stuff, which I was like, if you watch the show, some of these are not like behind the scenes secret stuff because we know them. So it's like they play music in the morning for the house guests. They can't sing. The house is small. There's no access to outside because of when they're building the comms. So most of the weeks there's like no.
Stuck inside.
They're stuck inside. They during lockdowns, like HOH lockdowns or whatever, they're not allowed to talk games, so they talk about their life, and then they listen to what's being built on the outside and try to figure out what the comps are going to be. So if you watch the live feeds, a lot of this stuff you do know because they talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But if you've been a casual, I don't know if you've been a casual for 24 seasons. Are there people who just watched casually for 24 and never watched the live feed? I cannot imagine.
Me neither, because I don't think I would have ever stuck with it. And
Me neither.
I had fiery fingers at some casuals today. I should have
Well,
I need to be like Tamika and just make
Yeah.
my little sly comment and move along.
I keep
I
it
just
moving.
cannot do it. I cannot physically do it. I have to type back.
Yes.
So, and they were evidently casuals because they did not know what they were talking about.
Yes.
And they insisted that they did it, but I'm like, you're wrong. I sent them a link to a very good podcast
Yeah.
that would explain it all to them. I said, message me back when you watch it. If not, just leave me alone, please.
Right.
And thank you.
This is the thing. I have been watching reality TV for a very long time.
Yes.
I've also been watching TV for a very long time, and this is always what I've done. I've always chit chatted about shows. Back then, when it was like America's Next Top Model, what other shows are really crazy that
Real World.
Real World. I'm trying to think of shows with crazy ass fandoms. You wouldn't know it, but oh my god, Once Upon a Time,
That
show,
mm-hmm.
yeah, crazy fandom. So
listen, but I don't understand. Like, I feel like I don't know if I would argue anything about a scripted show. What are you arguing about? I guess just discussing it.
Yes, like, why did this person do this? Why you don't think
about
the why? Yeah, you don't think about the fact that a writer made them do it. It's just like it's funny. So I have been on message boards, and then after message boards and social media started picking up, I've been doing it on used to do it on Facebook and Facebook groups and IG, and then Twitter. I started on Twitter like 12, 13 years ago, and yes, and
I did not know Twitter was around that long. Like,
yes.
I think I've had one. I'd have to look and see when it started, but I only became active on Twitter because of Big Brother. I'm like, okay, how does this work? Like, I had no idea what a hashtag was before I started to go tweet about Big Brother. Like, I was like, someone was telling me, go on Big Brother Twitter. I'm like, well, how do I find like specifically Big Brother Twitter? Like, I didn't know like just go to the hashtag, but it was all new to me.
Yeah, literally, I only started my Twitter account to talk TV.
That's all I really primarily use mine for. If something's not happening in regards to TV stuff, that's mostly what I talk about because I like conversing about it. I just enjoy talking about it, seeing what other people think, what they're saying, how they feel about it, all that.
Yeah, and then politics, but I mostly talk politics everywhere. But it used to be bad when I used to be on message boards. They had to shut down the America's Next Top Model message board. They would not let us start new threads because it was that bad.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like,
standing people have been around for a very long time. So
we just know more about it with social media.
Yep. So then they're talking about the backyard, and apparently there's a games department, and she says that the games department plan out the games 6 to 8 months before, which makes sense why some of these twists and comps, they don't survey the land and survey the people and be like, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should change it up because this is not going to work. It's going to be bad. Yeah.
I usually think that the twists sometimes start as a good idea, but the execution, had it been done differently, would work better. Like that.
Especially with certain people, and from what I see, the comps in the early days, we used to have a lot more female HOHs, and then as you went along, it started being very comp heavy towards powerhouse men, powerhouse women, and then but the women were further and farther between, and then now I'm hoping with Taylor's win, we will see more social being a winner out of the season, because I loved Taylor's social game. That is why I liked watching the feeds, just watching what she would do. And even Joseph, who didn't win and didn't get, he just made it to jury, I liked watching him go to the other side and manipulate them just a little bit and then come back and tell his alliance and then try to figure out I liked that part of it. I can't imagine just being okay, we play the comp, and so you're out, and you're out, and you're out. Like
Yeah.
I don't. No,
Yes,
no.
the game is 80 to 100 days for a reason. If it were strictly about comp wins, they could go play the challenge.
Right.
That's not, or there would be a scorecard and we could just tally up all the points that everybody got for this, that, and the other, and then determine a winner that way. It's as long as it is because the social game matters.
Yeah.
How people feel about you, what they think about you, their perception of you is important. They don't want to give their vote to people that they don't like or that has pissed them off, that hurt them, that blah, 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 blah. Taylor
Right.
did an amazing job at starting the game in a negative,
Right.
humanizing herself to these people, and then allowing those people to see her and realize how wrong they were. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I completely respect her game. And as far as the comps go, I
Yeah.
agree with you. They tend to be BB Can is at the forefront of my memory. BB Can 11 is at the forefront of my memory because I just watched that.
Mhm.
But a lot of the comps were speed and agility
Yeah.
with young, athletic gym men that were naturally faster than a
Yeah.
lot of the women that they were up against. Not to say that the woman couldn't beat them, but I just think a lot of the comps lead towards young or fast athleticism. I would like more randomized comps. I would like more quizzes,
Yeah.
knowledge kind of comps, or mix in an element of that. So you just can't run the fastest and win the game, you know?
I did like the comps better in BB23. I
Mhm.
feel like there were a lot more
Variety.
puzzles and yeah, like a lot more variety. Still, heavy. We still had a lot of comp beats because there were still a lot of heavy duty comps that were like, okay, so a guy's gonna win this. But I do feel like comparing those two seasons, there was a lot more like those type of like either mental or like, okay, like someone else can win this.
Yeah.
So let's hope that they do that. But Kaser is talking about like hanging comp where he's getting slimed. He said it's not easy. Janelle was saying I think Janelle, Rachel, and Azza said their favorite is Otev.
Yep.
And then Taylor's was BB Comics, which that one was a really good comp. The BB Comics.
I like BB Comics because while you do have to be fast, you still have to know your stuff.
Yes.
So there's not just speed and agility that's going to win you the game. You have to be able to look at the things and study the things and figure it out too. So there's an element of that skill involved. So I like BB Comics. I always look forward to seeing how they draw them or what their comic is or what the theme of their comic is, because there's been some good ones.
Yeah.
Like Kyle's. I'm never going to forget it. Never.
No. Frankie Grande said his was the egg transfer comp, which he won with Cody. And then we talked to Brendan and Rachel and Danielle, and they're like, their favorites were food comps because back in those seasons, you had to compete
to get
the good food and earn your food. And Danielle's like, can you please bring back food comps?
Yeah.
Like she's like, it's just the best fights are when people are basically hangry.
Yeah.
Are hungry. And I'm like, yeah, watching those food comps, I'm like, oh, they're kind of cute. Like but I do see they take up time in the day. But there's sometimes when these people are sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
You could do them like every once in a while so that they earn like luxury items, like chicken wings, like
Jasmine's chicken
wings. So, like, think about it. Like, that one where they earned a lobster dinner in Luau.
Yeah.
And then half the house was inside and half the house was outside, and the one's inside was watching them. And then all they did was cook up all the good food in the house while they were watching them. I'm like, I love that concept. Like, that was so fun to watch.
Bring it back, because it creates like, oh, the people inside are pissy because they didn't want the food. I think it just creates an element social strife or social potential for fights or arguments or drama.
Yeah.
Potential for drama. That's interesting.
Yeah. But not like, again, not personal. It's just like game
Within the
fun.
game.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And then so they did talk about how back in the day, seasons 2 through 6,
PB and
you
J.
would get put on peanut butter and jelly, and Danielle says she has not eaten peanut butter and jelly since 2002, and
I
even
feel like
thinking
she
about
didn't
making
like it.
fun.
I feel like she said in the house she didn't even like it at the time. Like
Yeah,
when she was
no,
eating
I
it.
remember her saying it at the time too. She was like, "No, I don't like. Why do we have to do
What
this?"
was that?
She's like, I remember her screaming into the ether, like, why did I lose? I don't want to eat peanut butter and jelly. It was funny, yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy. I cannot think of who he is. I want to say it was Janelle's season, I think, or Rachel. This is terrible. But he was on either slop or peanut butter and jelly for a long time. Like over a month. Like it was insane, and he lost a crazy amount, like clothes falling off of him. Like he came out of the house probably 50, 60 pounds lighter.
Is that the guy that went, like, he bet to like win a comp?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember the guy's name, but I know
Me neither. I'm surprised maybe in the chat knows, but he was on it for so long. It was insanity.
that he would eat
he had a
slop
funny
the rest
name.
of the season. Yeah, I forget. Chicken George.
Yes.
Chicken George.
I think. Somebody will tell us if we're wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah. But then season 7 they introduced slop, which Danielle calls the devil's porridge, which when she did come back for All Stars, she had to eat, and she said it's nasty and it's not oatmeal or cream of wheat. Frankie Grande insists that it's oatmeal. Hannah said she loves slop. Cody said it's not oatmeal.
Hannah just got it. She's like, I love slop and I love the have not room.
Have not room.
Hannah.
I can understand the have not room, and also their have not room wasn't too bad. Like you could find somewhere to catch in that have not room.
Yeah.
The one that Taylor and them had, theirs wasn't even bad either. Just I think they said it was really cold in there, and they didn't really have blankets. But like some of them, who was it? I think Rachel said that there were maggots in hers.
Yes, in the one season, Vanessa's season, they were like dental chairs, like literal dental chairs, like medical chairs. That's what their beds is terrible.
Well, I mean, I have fallen asleep in a dentist.
Yeah, well, I guess not good for you, but I was like, oh, that's terrible.
My thing, there's 2 reasons I could never do Big Brother. One, I'm cold anywhere I am. So I'm going to be cold. Like I would have to be wearing in the summertime.
Pants, yeah.
Yes, like all the time. And I sleep with the air conditioner on in the summer and a comforter.
So do I.
And then slop, because I hate oatmeal. Like I've tried it in any version. I don't eat cream of wheat. I don't eat porridge. I do not eat anything like that.
Well, it's easy. Be like Taylor and avoid being a have-not, Tamika.
Yeah.
You know?
Or I'd have to do what they did at they made slop pancakes.
They do come up with BB23 was really creative with what they did with the slop.
And then the next segment was the segment with historic house guests.
Evil Dick. Who they talk about?
And he used to do something with pots and pans.
He would go when they're sleeping and bang it above their heads. Like that was a mild thing that was like one of the okay things that Dick did. Like that was mild. Bang pots and pans above people's heads. They talked about, they had a flash of like Josh, Michael from 24. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tyler and Casey, Michael, Davon, Josh, and Brittany, I think it was.
Yeah.
Brandy says,
Brandy.
If it's so hot, can't sleep and no slop for me too. I'm thinking, I know, like that, not That's so like those are only two things. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
I couldn't do.
I like a fan to sleep also. Like we went on vacation, we take little mini fans to blow right
Mhm,
on me. Even with the air, I just like the noise of it and I like the feel of it.
mhm,
I'm not like too particular about food. I'm not a picky eater,
mhm.
but I'll put me on slop. Maybe I'll lose some weight.
and,
I'll give
then,
it to me.
and then they did talk about season 10, Dan Giesling,
Funeral.
and he just had this crazy power to like change people's minds. And I did watch him, and he like for the first few episodes he was like in a really strong alliance, and then it started like
Crumbling.
going to shit basically. And I was after that I was like I don't even know how he like get, so I haven't finished it, but I was like he's like literally on his own at this point. I don't know how he's gonna get there, so I still need to watch that part. But he won that season, then he went on to season 14. He did Dan's funeral and he helped himself stay.
Mhm.
And Danielle's like just the art of manipulation that he was able to do, she just loved. Kaser was talking about like just some of these psychopath things that these
I
people
love
have done.
Pacer. Yeah.
And then they talked about season 2, Dr. Will Kirby, and he would tell you to your face like, "I'm gonna do anything to win." And it's so funny because Danielle used to say the same thing, but she would say it in the DRs,
Mm-hmm.
and then she would go out and she would do her little.
Thing.
Oh my god! And her, I wish Jason was on there with her. I know he was there, but
Right. I
it
thought I
doesn't
saw a
look like
picture of
yeah, it doesn't look like they interviewed him. But them as a pair, like,
him.
I was like,
Iconic.
yeah, he was like a cute little white guy too. Like,
Curly hair.
yeah,
He was my kind of guy. Like I felt
yeah.
like if I had done Big Brother in my younger
Mhm.
days, and maybe even a little bit now, I would be very much like a Jason, like
Yeah,
innocent or oblivious to certain things, sweet to his core.
he
Like, get a
was.
hug, Jason. It's like, have you ever left your house and experienced the world? You know, because he was just
Yeah,
so innocent seeming, so
yeah.
sweet. Like, not a like. I couldn't picture him saying a mean thing about anybody. Like, I really like Jason.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it was. I was like, why wasn't he on there? Because I just loved that when they were talking about alliances, and then I feel like they were like mixing final twos and alliances because it was like they would
Yeah,
show two people from the alliance, and I'm like, that's final two.
yeah, and the historic characters, like my favorite historic characters
Mhm.
that they talked about was like I love Janelle.
Yeah.
Always have. I just I cannot wait till you watch her season because it's such a freaking fun season. Absolutely love it. I love Kaser.
Hmm.
Love, 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 love him. Such a sweet soul. Reminds me so much of Joseph. Like Joseph
Oh,
is
really?
Kaser 2.0. Seriously, he is Kaser 2.0 in my mind, except he made jury because Kaser never
Yeah.
made jury. Never.
So Dr. Will was in an alliance with called
Boogie.
Chilltown with
Yeah.
Mike Boogie. It was the first quote unquote alliance.
Alliance. Yeah.
And then we have the Hitmen with Derek and Cody. And
Brigade.
then and then Danielle and Frankie talked about how Cody taking Derek to final two was the dumbest move.
Dumbest.
It made a baby history. We also know somebody else who did that dumb move.
And we're very thankful.
And we're
Thank
thankful for
you
that. Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank and then Cody does go back and pre-games and wins BB 22.
Absolutely. And I thought, let me mention this next one. I need to watch. I have not watched season 10. I want to
Okay.
watch season 10. Why the
Yeah,
heck would you want to be called the Quack Pack?
I don't know.
I that is the worst name ever. I don't want to be a part of a quack pack. You sound like a bunch of crazy. That was the worst name.
Yeah. And then there was they did show our leftovers, which we loved the
I love
leftovers
leftovers.
until certain
I was
someone blew it
actually
up.
coincidentally actually talking to Brittany today about
Oh,
that.
really?
Yes, we were talking about, I was telling her it is very rare for a fandom to
Mm-hmm.
root for the very capable players, the very
Mm-hmm.
young, good looking
Mm-hmm.
players to
Mm-hmm.
all get together and steamroll the rest of the house. That is not what Big Brother fans root for. They hate majority alliances that take over, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody was waiting for the leftovers to become a thing.
Yeah.
We wanted it. We like, how long did we wait for Taylor to go in that room so it could be
Mhm.
official? Like, yes, love the leftovers. They saved the season for me.
Yeah, I'm disappointed because I also feel like we didn't really get it with Big Brother 23 because of Kylan. But I'm disappointed we did not get to see the fight between the leftovers. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for us to get down
Right?
to 7, and then they just like start going after each other and picking sides and kicking people out, and we didn't get that.
Yeah, true. Because I don't know. I'm just glad it played out how it played out.
This is true.
I'm fine with how it played out. I don't even want to think about another scenario.
Yeah, so then they had level 6, the brigade, and then they do talk about the most historic and
Yes,
most
baby.
successful
Yes,
alliance
baby.
in
Yes,
BB
baby.
history, the Cookout.
Yes.
And Hannah does say, listen, like it was never even a question. What was understood from day one.
Mhm.
And Xavier Prather does end up winning this season, but they basically all the
Cookout
black
members.
people in season 23 just knew they had to bring themselves together to try to get to the end game because
Yeah.
there's never been a black winner before.
And it was so like it was so casual the
Hmm.
way it came together. I will never forget it. Tiffany and maybe Xavier were in the kitchen just
Hmm.
talking, and it was like, we gotta stick together, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, for sure. It was so like loose at first and
Hmm.
not necessarily like, oh, we're just gonna look out for each other. And Hannah was super close to going out that one week. Xavier
Yeah.
even said we might have to let her go to keep us
Yeah.
still. And Tiffany's like, and they worked it out. So I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was so casual how it came together. And then slowly but surely, as they kept chugging along, Tiffany started to try to think, how can we get there? What could we? And she started working on that master plan. I don't think she was all in until she came up with that plan and explained it to everybody. So
Yeah.
I love, love, love seeing the cookout featured and getting their flowers from this network. And it
Yeah.
flashed all over. I love seeing their faces on the posters.
Yeah.
Love, love, love it.
Yeah. And they didn't talk to each other. They didn't meet. There were points where people thought they were actively targeting each other and hated each other in the house. It was crazy. And Derek even says there's plenty of times we wanted to jump ship. We just didn't because we understood that it was just necessary. It was never, this was the time. It was never going to happen otherwise. And so he's like, he kept Tiffany's name in his mouth every 2 seconds.
He did.
And
He
so
did.
Haza wraps it up with saying, who galvanized the people? Big D. Who came up with the name? X. Who came up with the strategy? Tiffany.
Tiffany. Perfect.
And I think that's the perfect way to state it. And that's what made them successful. They had one goal, and they all used what they could to make that one goal happen. So they will be. I don't see anybody eroding that history
No,
for
let me
them.
see you get 6 people to the end
Yeah,
intact
yeah,
without being detected.
yeah.
It's
Period.
insanity. I'm
No.
glad they got that. I'm glad they have those accolades. Like it means so much to me. So I love
Yeah.
it.
Especially since there could only be one winner, but I'm glad they get their individual recognition from being in the cookout.
Absolutely.
Um, and then next we have Rachel Riley saying who her most memorable. She's a winner. She says who her most memorable winner is, and it is Taylor Hale.
Yeah.
And I love this segment not only because I love Taylor, but to have Danielle talk about Taylor, and she's
Hmm.
trying not to tear up. And just having watched a little bit of Danielle's season
Hmm.
and watching the kind of player that she was, but she still understood how much she impacted Taylor's game.
Hmm.
B, that even though Taylor was playing not necessarily a Danielle game, but maybe more of a Janelle game, or maybe a mix of other people's games, she
Hmm.
still sees herself reflected in Taylor's win, and
Hmm.
and that it makes her just tear up that Taylor was able to get the win that she couldn't get 20 years later. And
Hmm.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that she has that. I loved Danielle all over the special. I need her to go. She needs to go on Traders. She needs to go on the Mole. She needs to go do something because she's amazing, and I need her to
Yeah.
go and win something.
She's great TV, and I've always liked her personality. I always loved her perspective, even in just talking about the game. So yeah, I absolutely love seeing her talk about Taylor's win.
Yeah.
Especially since Taylor was motivated by Danielle.
And then we do come back around to Taylor talking about how when she watched Danielle's season, she like almost passed out. And she's told this story many times, contrary to unpopular opinions of some people, that she just made this up on this show. She has mentioned multiple times how she watched Danielle's season and how she was very upset that Danielle did not win.
She said
And,
no.
and nothing against Lisa, but she felt like Danielle had played a game where she should have won, but because the jury at the time was unsequestered and they went with who they liked over who was the better player in the house.
Yeah. I feel strongly that had there been a sequestered jury, we would have had Danielle as a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Danielle is basically the sacrificial lamb for the rest of the Big Brother history. Seasons after, all jury is now sequestered.
Yes.
So we do have Danielle to thank for that. And then they introduced Janelle, who is, according to them, the best to never win. The comp beast. Although Michael from BB24 has now tied her
record. But look how long it took.
But it took that long to tie her record.
Long.
Yeah.
People, like I said, when I got into Big Brother, they're like, watch Janelle, you will absolutely love her. She's so like nothing like my person. She's so confrontational, so confident, so outspoken, says what's on her mind, is unafraid, and is very unbothered by what other people say about her. She was such a character. They tried and they tried and they tried to get Janelle out, and they just could not do it. The woman kept winning everything, and she's freaking funny. She's not afraid to clap back, and that house hated her. They hated her. They would be so salty when Janelle would get love from a fan. Every prize a house guest would get from the fans, Janelle got, and the whole rest of the house was like, why did they give it to her? Why did they like her? Blah, 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 blah. It's such an epic season. And then my other favorite part of that season is there are two distinct sides that are going bat for bat every single week. It's so fun. It's nothing like modern Big Brother where we have these people voting together to try to blend in with the majority or not try to stand out. These people did not care. They voted with their people.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit Janelle touched on the fact that, well, that might have been a podcast, but she touched on the fact that that's what people do in modern Big Brother. They go with the herd as to if they realize that they can't get the votes, they may try, but if they can't, they just revert to voting with the majority so they don't look like they're on the outs.
Yeah. It was one of the articles that came out surrounding the special, and we did see a lot of that with Big Brother 24. Where
it's all that happens.
Yeah, like they weren't thinking for themselves. They weren't even thinking. It wasn't even about just voting with their alliance. They just weren't thinking about for themselves or thinking selfishly or wanting to do their own game. They literally were just going with the house, going with the house, going with the house.
And since I started watching live with the feeds, that is the theme. People try to make moves. Janelle in 22, she'd be like, we don't need to do what they're saying to do. Why are we listening to the HOH? They have a majority and they're going to pick us off until we can't do. She was absolutely right, but didn't have the numbers or people willing to go against the grain at the time. People want to blend in. They don't want to be on the outside of the majority. And if they figure out that they cannot get the vote or they think they can't get the numbers, they vote with the majority. We can't save Tamika. We've tried everything. I tried to get the numbers. So we're just going to have to vote Tamika out. That's what they do because they don't want to be on the outs of what the majority is doing and be on the wrong side of the numbers.
Yeah.
That's what they fear because they feel like they're going to be ostracized or targeted because of it. That's the new way of Big Brother. Hide your alliance within the majority because everybody wants to vote together so that they don't look like they're on the outs when they actually are. Like it's very annoying, but that is modern Big Brother.
Yeah. which is why like the cookout was so successful because they did it like flawlessly, like literally hit their numbers, literally hit their alliance to the point that people were voting with them and not realizing they were voting against their own interests.
They did a good job with the pre-made festy bestie twist that Tiffany did. Her
Yeah.
master plan was perfect. You know what I mean? Like they did
Yeah.
a good job of hiding themselves and hiding that they were actually working together. So it
And
worked.
then we get a segment on Julie at how she turned down
Oh,
the job initially. That the original host they wanted was Meredith Vieira. What do you think of? Do you remember Meredith Vieira?
I should have Googled her. I know the name, but like I didn't care about this
Oh, okay, all right.
segment.
Well, I like Meredith.
Do you? Let me look
Yeah,
her up. What's Meredith what?
Vieira, Viera, I think. She was on The View. She's hosted a few different things. She hosted oh God, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I think the midday
Oh,
one.
okay.
She's not a bad
I
host.
recognize her.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
not a bad host. Again, they're both very newsy, so it's not
Yeah.
like I don't think we would have got much different.
Different. Yeah.
But Meredith was on The View for a few years, so I think, has a little more personable of a nature.
Mm-hmm.
But she did say she took the job when it was like a month away from uh, coming on, and thus the Chen Butt was
Born.
born,
Yep.
and that her family told her that she was a great news anchor, but she during the day, but she was a terrible on Big Brother.
I like
Um,
Julie more, like Julie's vibes more, even in earlier seasons. Like
yeah,
I will never forget her slapping Marcellus upside the head.
yeah, but I also think it goes back to what you were saying. I feel like she was more invested. I feel like she watched the
Yeah.
show more. She watched the live feeds. I just feel like now she's just like, oh
Reading her cue cards.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I do too. I
yeah,
don't mind her. Like I'm not as bothered by her. She doesn't have a huge impact on the show. For, like my enjoyment of the show has
mhm,
nothing to do with Julie per se. For me,
true,
you know what I
true.
mean. So she doesn't bother me. Her whether or not she's good or bad doesn't make a difference to me.
Mhm.
That's all. Like she is
Just
what
don't
she is.
spread misinformation on interviews that you get. So
Yeah.
next thing she talks about the comps and how they've gotten harder and harder over the years, and that how Janelle came on season, was it 21 or 22, and wasn't that
22.
good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's also 20 years older, and it wasn't like she was dead last. One comp, it was like point something something seconds.
Okay.
Had she had won that comp,
Hmm.
Tyler and Cody's behinds would have been on the block. She was this
Close.
close, literally so close. So it wasn't like while she didn't win any comps, it wasn't like she was horrible. She just
Right.
had men 20 years younger beat her. You know what I mean? She did a good job, in my opinion.
And then they talk about the versions that have evolved from the show, which is All Stars and the celebrity version. And they didn't mention BBOT.
Yeah, I never watched that one.
Me neither.
Celebrities, okay. I tuned in like if I was interested in whatever celebrity was on, but I
Mhm.
didn't like I wasn't invested in it. I would just pop in or pop out. That's all. I don't predict it's too fast. It's not real big. It's like 20 days.
Yeah, but that's basically what Janelle and
I know, but it's
asking,
nothing. It's
asking for.
nothing. It's like a blink and you're out the house. So I don't particularly enjoy that. Part of me, what that thinks Big Brother is a really hard game is the length of time you have to consistently play it.
Mhm.
Could not imagine. I feel bad for the 100 dayers. Like I feel
But,
bad for them. That's a
yeah,
long time
that's
to
a long time.
have that on you. You know, they talk about how alum all the time talk about how traumatic this game is. So
Yeah,
I just hope they come out okay, and I'm glad they have therapists in the house for them.
right. Then they talk about some celebrities who've interacted with the show. So Jimmy Fallon, Rihanna. Somebody said that Rihanna tweeted about Big Brother once, and now all of a sudden everybody mentions her.
Yes.
Ariana, Ariana. Well, her brother was on it. George Clooney, Sheryl Crow had a concert for season 3. Neil
Yeah.
Patrick Harris showed up on All Star season.
Yep.
And Julie says her was it dream cast would be Kim K, Tom Brady, Snoop, and Martha. And I'm like, you're not getting any of those people.
I agree, but I would love to see those people on live feeds. Like, I want to see what they're going to be talking about.
Yeah,
You know
that's why we're not going to get them. That's why we didn't get a celebrity version in the winter.
Yeah.
So next they discuss showmances, and I'm gonna pull something up
Okay.
because I found it interesting. Wait, where are we? Oh. Share screen. And here we go. So, can we see that?
Yes.
So these are all the current showmances, and they did flash through a lot of them, but there are 8 couples in total. 7 are married. Um, no pressure, Derek and Claire, but it felt like pressure. They mentioned it. Um, but they said the show is basically a marriage show. They've had more successful marriages than The Bachelor. Again, but I always say this, like with The Bachelor and with even Love Island, the reason why a show like this would be more successful with building those bonds is because it's just the length of time, right?
Yeah.
Because the Bachelor, they film in like 3 to 4 weeks. Love Island, it's like
3 to 4 weeks?
yes.
The Bachelor?
Yes, and then you get engaged.
Wow, that's really fast. Like,
Yes. And
yeah,
then
and
yeah.
then you're not
And then,
necessarily even coming into Big Brother. It's not a dating show. I think that these things, like these relationships, just organically form. You
right.
know what I mean? They're not
You,
on there to
you find some chemistry. Exactly. And
Yeah.
and I feel like that it makes sense. You're in there for such a length of time that you develop these super bonds, right?
Yeah.
And you just might so have. I mean, 8 couples from 24 seasons is nothing to sneeze at. And we have had couples that have come out, but they are not no longer together. So it's
Yeah, and several of them have been together for a long time, like Rachel, Brendan,
right,
Jordan and Jeff, Bailey and for a couple years. Nicole's newer. Danny and Dominic, they met in season 12 or 13. 13, I think. Like, I follow her. I love following her. She's very personable, Danny. She made me mad in BB21, but I think I've like moved past it a little bit. But BB22, I'm sorry,
it's in
BB22.
it's in the rear view mirror.
A
And,
little bit. A little bit. Because I follow
and they
her,
said
her kids are cute, and she's like
yeah,
interactive, so a little bit.
said they've had 11 kids come out of Big Brother. Rachel, I think, was the first one to have a Big Brother baby.
Yep.
So I just thought this segment was interesting.
Yeah.
And, it's hopefully more successful. But, after last season, some people are down with showmances. You know me, I like romance, so
I do
I
too. I
don't mind
love
a
love.
chance.
I
Yeah,
love love, and I
yeah,
love seeing people
yeah,
happy together. So I
yeah,
always root if people want to be together and they're
yeah.
happy. I love it.
Just gotta be healthy. Just gotta be healthy.
Yes.
And then they talked about Zingbot, which I think the segment on Zingbot got amount as enough of amount on the show that it should have gotten because
Well,
the last 2 seasons when I've watched Zingbot, I was like, this is what people keep talking about? This is yeah,
this is it.
yeah,
Yeah, Zingbot could use a new writer, I think.
yeah,
And I don't know if it's gonna get any better this year, so maybe we can hope for next year.
yeah. And then they talk about some one-liners that have come as like Bye Bye Bitches and
Janelle, oh,
you
she's
know.
so good. She threw that key at her too. Once she said that, she threw the key at her. And Rachel with Floaters Find a Life Vest is iconic. Most people know about it. Rachel, you have to watch her. She is such a freaking character. And watching her little when she sat down and they're like, "Are you interested in the show, man?" She's like, "Yeah." Like she's just so Rachel. I love her, and I really didn't care much for her on The Amazing Race. I'm honest about that. But all she did was cry. All she did was cry. But they killed it. They were a strong team. They should have won. Like they got to the end. I believe every time they played, they were on twice, I believe,
Hmm.
and they got to the end. Did you watch their seasons of
I
Amazing Race?
don't remember, to be fair.
Because I know
I
you
used
love
to watch it
Danielle.
all. I used to watch it religiously, and they
Yeah,
did. I don't remember if they included it in this special, but they did talk about Big Brother,
on Amazing
people
Race.
like on the Amazing Race and
Yes,
on Survivor, and so we do know like there's been three Amazing Race teams that have won from
one.
Big Brother.
Rachel and Brendan were so close, and I can't even remember. There was one where, if this is the same season, I don't know
Mhm.
for sure. So don't come find me if I'm wrong. Just let me know. But it was a season where they went and they did like a roadblock, right? That's when you can go off or fast forward, where you can fast forward to the end if
Mhm.
you complete that task. And Rachel and Brendan went to it. They got to it, but it was the one where you had to shave your head bald, and she wouldn't do it. She would not do it. She's like, I cannot shave my. She was like, she was so
Yeah.
Rachel. She was like, I will be so ugly. I love Rachel. But there was a black couple on there, and they had very unique names. The guy's name started with a U. That's gonna kill me. Joyce and something with a U. She had, from my memory, I think she had braids in, like micros, shaved her head. Oh, I
Hmm.
couldn't believe she did it. And I want to say they won their season, and I was happy for them because they were trying to start a family and they were having a hard time. But yep, Rachel was iconic on that show. So Brenchal's are like my favorite Big Brother couple, then Bailey and Swaggy. And then I like Dan and Dom. Everybody else can. Claire and Derek. I like them too.
I love Claire and
Everybody
Derek.
else, meh.
I loved Claire and Derek.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched most of the season. And I did watch Bailey and Swaggy. They were on Say Yes to the Dress.
Oh,
And
okay,
so
I
that
remember
was my
that.
introduction to them. So
I didn't want, my introduction to Bailey was her in All Stars, and I love her. I
yeah.
don't understand why. Well, yes, I do. Never mind. But I was gonna say I don't understand why some don't like her, but I know, and it's not justified in my opinion. But I really like Bailey, and I thought she had lots of potential as a player. So I really like her.
Um, I mean, Danielle says something that I think is also just very reflective of the show, that we see that regardless of the things that happen in the show, these people are bonded for life. and
Yeah,
and I have said this a number of times, like, you either come off of it with these were my coworkers for 70 to 100 days, or
mhm.
these are my lifelong friends. You forgive, you forget, you're family, you're not family, you have an adjacency that you will never get rid of.
Yeah,
Um, and I do feel like sometimes we don't give people enough grace to handle the relationships that are
as they
complicated,
want. Yeah.
especially when you end up, you're married to somebody, but they were friends with somebody who was yelling at you in the house, or, that kind of stuff. And it's like, we can't always like police these people's behaviors, but we can't definitely police their bonds and
Relationship.
their
Yeah.
relationships. So
They get to choose that, and we haven't met. A majority of us don't know these people. We feel like we do because we watched them for so long, but
yeah.
we don't know these people personally. I hate that element of it, that they can't be friends, or they're criticized for who they're friends with, who they're not friends with, how they talk about this or talk about that, or
Right, how
blah
they
blah
handle or deal with people. And
Yeah,
then they put emojis in people's comments that have nothing to do with one person, maybe somebody else, and people take those the wrong way. Anyway, so Then that was pretty much the end of the
Yeah.
special, and then they showed the Big Brother 25 house, which I'll show you guys a little bit here. I have it posted on my Facebook and Entertainment in Color on Facebook and my Instagram account, and I think maybe Threads. I don't know. I can't always remember where I posted it, but these are pictures. I said it was giving cabin fever.
Yes, it does. I don't like love it. It's
Mhm.
not the bright summery house that I would enjoy. It's very much fall vibes. I guess that's
Yes,
the brand.
they're
But
basically going to be there for majority of fall. So yeah,
and it's very it's like dreary. Like, it's so dark.
yeah,
Like it's so dark with all that
it's
wood.
dark with all the wood, and then the green wallpaper, the windows, and um those white couches. We know they're going to end up having to replace them. Those white
I was
couches are
like, why
not.
white? White of all colors?
Those they're not staying. They closed off the bumper pool room this year. And I like this room. I think it's cute. It's kind of a mix of what they had with Big Brother 23 and 24. But in 23 they didn't have the bumper pool in the room, I don't think. And then
They didn't
I think it's,
24.
yeah, I think it's cute. I know those white couches are gonna go.
I think I don't understand anybody on earth who buys a white couch. My children, well, not everybody has kids, but they
Yeah.
would destroy it.
But
I feel like
the
I
comps
would destroy it.
alone, the comps
Huh?
alone are gonna. There's no way. And then what is this? Somebody was saying like, what is this? Is this like refrigerator? Is this an ice machine? What is this?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, somebody was zoomed in. I saw that somewhere along the way.
Yeah. So, I listen. Regardless, I'm excited to mostly watch
Yes,
the live
Natalie,
TV.
they should have. You see what Natalie said? That was a memorable
Yeah,
moment because that I
they,
feel like that just led to cookouts,
yeah,
cookouts mission, Taylor, how she
yeah,
felt about why she was playing and what she wanted
yeah.
to do for Black women. Completely agree, Natalie. Thank you.
I don't know if she had to sign, because I don't understand why CBS or Paramount couldn't just provide it. But again, this was presented by Entertainment Tonight. So is
Provide
it
Dave on speech, you mean?
yeah?
Yeah,
So
they
is
could have
it
played it if they wanted to.
is it that she did not agree for her, because I did see her picture flash
Yeah.
on there.
No, they just didn't pick it as like a memorable moment. They should have, because to me, it was just like Bailey and Davon and the
Mhm,
conversations that they had to
mhm,
each other in Big
mhm,
Brother 22
mhm.
contributed to the cookout. Hannah talks about it on live feeds that she
Yeah,
watched Bailey and Davon in their sisterhood and she wanted that. She's like, I watched and I applied after I watched those two.
yeah,
Taylor only turned on Big Brother because of the cook. All these things led
yeah.
to
They
where
were
we
they
are
were
today.
triggers. They were
Yes.
triggers. Yeah,
So I think that Natalie is absolutely right. Davon's speech should have been in there right before they talked about the historic cookout. I wish, like, that's why it should have been a little bit longer and it should have been a little bit more in depth,
yeah,
because talk about why the cookout felt the need. Like, if it hadn't been dominated by other people for the
yeah,
past 21 years,
yeah.
they would feel they wouldn't feel the need to play like that. You know what I mean?
It's
So
like they wanted to gloss over that because they also didn't talk about. I mean, in some respects, I'm happy they didn't talk about like the stuff that happened to Taylor in her season either.
yeah,
Um,
they were trying to keep it light and fun, you know.
yeah, so it's like they glossed over a lot, which I get, but it's also a lot of it is part of the social experiments. Like
Yeah.
it's
No
just
need.
that.
We know it's there. At least the true,
Yeah.
hard or core. I'm not allowed to call myself a super fan, but I'm a big fan. So
So listen, guys, that was the special.
yes.
This is our coverage of the
Yep.
special. Going forward, which will probably be going live maybe once a week, twice a week, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to do either Wednesday or Saturday, according to our schedule. So next week, Wednesday is the premiere.
Yep.
I will not be. I will still be in the city when we could be going live. So
Yes.
if I do go live, it might be on my IG. I will go live on my IG with some, videos and photos of people who are there at the premiere, but it won't be about the actual show.
Yeah.
So we probably will meet maybe Saturday. We're gonna try to like chit chat about the beginning of the show. Hopefully we get a cast. Not this Saturday, the Saturday after the show begins.
Yeah.
Chit chat about the cast. Maybe do a cast. What did we say?
Draft.
Draft.
Yes.
Maybe. And talk about the live feeds. And then we will be at the next party in Detroit, and I think that's on Thursday.
Yeah.
I will be traveling to Detroit
On
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So we will see if we can even chit chat about the show then. But
Yeah.
I can always bring my computer or something. But we will try to be as consistent as possible, but we are so excited to bring some different coverage. I feel like it'll be different than what other people bring to the table, because we're going to give you a mix of everything, and this is going to be fun.
This is just for fun. We love Tamika and I are just friends, and we talk about all these things anyway.
Right.
Like, girl, did you see this or this
Yeah.
person said that? Or that's what we do. So come
Yes.
join us,
Yeah.
come chat with us, leave your thoughts in the chat. We'll pop them up here, and we'll try to include everybody that comes through as much as we possibly can. But I
Yeah.
am excited.
Me too. So that is it for us, guys. And as always, you can follow me on Entertainment in Color everywhere. I'm on Spill. I gotta update this. I'm on Threads. I'm on Spoutable. I try to post as much as I can. Different places. Sometimes I don't remember to post places. Janelle, where can they find you?
I am just Janelle Michaud on everything. I usually have like the same profile, the same name. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Spill, Threads, all under the same name in some way, shape, or form. I'm probably going to hop on a couple of times also with my crew, the Silent Podcast. They're covering Big Brother as well, and I anticipate hopping on a couple of times over there. It's a great group of podcasters that I love working with, so I'm just super excited about all of this.
Yeah, and Chantel said from Reality Realness said she might hop over here to talk
Yeah.
Big Brother with us. So we're excited for her too.
Yes, I love Chantel.
Yeah, so that is going to be like 100 days of fun, I feel like. And as for me, tonight is Love Island USA, which starts now. So I will be back tonight at 10:15 to live recap and review Love Island USA as well. So join me there if you're a watcher. Even if you're not a watcher, join me then. So that is it for us tonight, guys. And we will see you sometime next week for our Big Brother coverage. I hope you enjoyed the show. Have a good night, guys.
Bye, guys.